the overall transition is a process that takes a number of years. The point at which our bodies physically change from third-dimensional dense matter to fourth-dimensional crystalline fine matter will be an instantaneous thing. Snap of the fingers, change, that's it. When most people think of the transition, they are thinking of that moment when our bodies change from 3D to 4D. But the actual change itself is a process. Earth goes through a lot of preparation, which includes the activity of the crust and the poles, which includes the activity of the mantle, which includes the change in the Schumann resonance, or the hum of the planet. That is continuing and will continue after the transition. It also does include changes in our consciousness in terms of how we think, how we approach information, kinds of things that interest us. A lot of us are finding that we're losing interest in the day-to-day grind in order to focus more on matters of spirituality and progress. We're less interested in toil and we're more interested in actual productive work rather than work for the sake of work. So yes, this is an ongoing process. The flip of our bodies from 3D to 4D is instantaneous. Whether it'll happen when we're sleeping or not, I don't know, because from what I know, it happens to the entire Earth simultaneously. So some of us will wake up 4D and some of us will be like, oh, what? Did anyone just feel that? What the heck just happened there?
Okay, I want you to envision something for a moment. Imagine that you are tunneling through rock. You know at some point you're going to bust through and you're going to be into a chamber of something awesome, right? Maybe you're tunneling to a treasure chamber. Maybe you're tunneling to a paradise. I don't know, but you're tunneling through rock. The problem is you don't know exactly where that line's going to be, but you can tell by the sound of your pick on the rock that you're getting close. That's what we're at. We're not going to know we're there until we come busting through.
That's a very good analogy.
That's really the situation that we're in. Putting a date or a time on this, I am not going to do this. I'm sorry. Timelines are not appropriate. I would say in a general sense, sometime between now and 2016, but I could be wrong.
What if I've had my organs removed?
Tolek does discuss this quite extensively in his interviews. He makes it very clear that if you had organs removed, false teeth, replacement limbs, maybe you've got a titanium plate at the base of your skull, you'll be returned to factory default, so to speak. You won't need to worry about those things. They'll be gone in an instant, and your body will be once again perfect in an instant.
Yeah, that's a frequently asked question of me. I hear a lot of people saying, when we come back, are we going to come back as like a reborn infant? Are we going to be in our infancy, or are we going to come back as just a young adult, or back at the same age that we are now?
You'll be an adult. You'll be, if you're like me, who has been physically disabled for most of her life, you won't come back you won't have those disabilities. You will be the ideal version of yourself at about 30 years old in peak physical condition and mental condition. Or if you were younger than that, you'll still be an ideal version of that. Okay, a few things on appearance, and this is a good subject because I also got an email from somebody asking about appearance. I think you will by default appear to be mid-20s to 30s, though you can, if you were older than that, you can make yourself look older if that's your choice. You're not going to be able to pick and choose parts. You'll be able to look like what you looked like in the past or look like an idealized version of yourself, but you're not going to be able to go through, say, a list of celebrities and say, I want this guy's crooked teeth and that guy's nose and this one's eyebrows and her flowing hair and all of that. It's not going to be a pick and choose grab bag.
I've been hearing some strange information lately about gender changing in higher dimensions, or rather the idea that, say, a male could give himself physical aspects that a female would have, and vice versa. Is this common, and would it fall under shape-shifting?
It depends on whether or not it would be permanent. I do not know how common that is. Hopefully one of the girls has got a better answer.
I don't know how common it is. If you've had more than one life and you've been the other gender, you can change your body to be according to those other lifetimes. If you are a natural shapeshifter and that shapeshiftability includes gender shifting, which it doesn't always, you'll be able to do that. If you feel that you were born into the wrong gender as a 3D physical person, and this does happen, it's I wouldn't say super common, but between 1% and 3% of the population have this happening, and it is not a matter of mental illness or being crazy or being wrong, nor is it a matter of sexual orientation. If you are a transgendered individual, you will have the ability to become the gender that you prefer or the sex you prefer without mutilation or surgery or somebody demanding $20,000 or somebody saying you can't use that bathroom or this bathroom or you must dress or act this way. It will be there. It will be available for you without judgment, without denigration, without everybody saying that you're abnormal or sick or wrong. It's not a judgment. It's not a value-laden thing there. You won't be weightless. You'll still have some mass. You'll still be made up of matter. Matter itself will be made up differently from what it is now. It will have a different density. You will still be able to touch, to feel, to enjoy the grass, to enjoy the sun, to pick up a child, to enjoy the embrace of a loved one, to enjoy making love. All of those things will still be present.
Okay. What about smells and weight and solidity of life? Will it all be ethereal?
No, it won't all be ethereal. There will be smells. There are some that are, there still are smells. I can verify that. Anybody who's ever had a ghost smell, it definitely does still exist at that level.
Yes, and taste and all that. If anything, instead of it being lessened, it'll be more enhanced and more distinct and more vibrant.
And in addition, when you're touching other people, there's more of an exchange of energy that goes on. It's not as prosaic as touch in this world. It's more. There's more to it, right?
Yeah.
In addition to the touch, there's a great deal of information that comes along. If you're really good friends with someone and you give them a hug, you can tell their state of mind. You can tell how they're feeling emotionally. You can give them comfort. It's good.
And this is where the concept of, and I know it's like something that's been said around for a long time, of touching souls with someone. That's where it comes from.
And a lot of healing modalities use energy manipulation and touch.
Okay.
And I assume that parts will still smell, right?
I don't know anybody who farts except for comic effect.
Do our crystalline bodies still need oxygen and nutrients like our 3D bodies need right now? And do we still bleed? And also, will 4D or crystalline bodies still need to go to the bathroom and release liquids and solid waste?
Okay, yes, there is
not a concern of
blood.
mine, but
yes, there is blood. Yes, people are oxygen breathers, or nitrogen breathers, or methane breathers. Like there's various breathing and respiration that goes on. As for producing waste, no, when you take in food, you were taking in energy, not molecules. So this is taken in and used by the body in its entirety, and there is no requirement for waste.
What happens to the organs that support urination and defecation? The kidneys, the liver, the pancreas, the intestines. Will they become vestigial?
Yeah, they become vestigial.
Okay.
And that also means that if you ever have to go back into a physical dimension, they'll still work. But yeah, they're largely vestigial at that level.
Even though we will weigh less, will our physical abilities increase? Like we will run faster, jump higher, and lift more weight? And do we still need to do weight training and build stronger muscles in 4D?
Conditioning stays the same. If you reach a condition, if you train and become good at something, you don't suffer atrophy or decay, or at least the rate is much, much, much less fast than it is down here. For instance, down here, if you want to be in peak physical shape, you got to train all the time. Up there, once you master it, you don't have to keep training, although people usually keep training in order to learn new techniques and new skills, not necessarily just maintain the old ones. They do it for fun. A lot of people find training to be fun. Your body will hold its condition indefinitely unless you suffer from an injury or something else that changes that, in which case you might have to rehabilitate after that. But in general, you don't have the same sort of atrophy that you experience down here on Earth. Like, I'm talking guys running around for thousands of years here.
Okay.
There is muscle, there is bone, there is blood, things like that. It's similar in structure, but made up of different forms of matter, which is why it's quite a bit lighter than it is down here. It is also quite a bit stronger because it goes from being third density dense matter to fourth density light matter, crystalline light matter. And, people are able to run a lot faster, be a lot stronger. Tausetians, for instance, are roughly 3 to 5 times stronger than your average Earth human. Perceived pound for pound, I should say, not pound for pound, because they weigh quite a bit less because they're fifth dimensional. You'll also need less sleep, which means that in an average 24-hour period, most people need about 2 hours of shut-eye. Think of all that time that you could do whatever you want with. Lots of fun.
Okay.
And yes, brains work quicker. People tend to be, I won't say smarter, but the brain has a lot greater capacity for faster learning and understanding concepts more easily.
My daughter wants to know what childbirth will be like in the fourth dimension and what will happen if she is pregnant as we ascend.
Now, as somebody who's done this personally, it's a lot more fun in higher dimensions.
Not nearly as painful.
I haven't done it down here in this lifetime. I have done it in other lives, and I think I actually died once in the process of it down here. Up there, I've done it quite a bit, enough to know that there's no pain, there's no blood. It's not like down here where you are birthed in blood and pain, and some people really like to pound in over and over and over again. Up there, it's a lot more gentle. It's an amazing, no epidural. It's an amazing experience. Some people find it very pleasurable. There is a huge sense of connection between you and your child.
What about sex when in 4D existence? Will it be more or less intense?
Well, usually at that point, most people have some kind of psionic or empathic ability. So if you're a telepath or an empath, let's just say it gets better and better. Also, unless it is your intent to feel pain or cause pain, I know for a lot of women and some men on this planet right now, sex is a painful proposition. It doesn't need to be that way. And a lot of the dysfunctions that Terrans can suffer in the realm of sex and sexuality, they're also not going to stick around. So, if you're a sufferer of one of the many, many sexual dysfunctions that afflict humanity on this planet, you don't need to worry or feel ashamed. that's going
So
to
we're
get
not going to have a
naturally.
need for Viagra then. Men will still get erections.
Oh, yeah, I
have
know
Yeah.
a lot of really old guys who are well able to keep it up. I mean, I'm talking, people who are thousands of years old. Unfortunately, there is still differences of opinion to quite high dimensions. And there are still people who suffer from inflated opinions of their own self-worth in relation to others.
Okay.
You mean your
next
egos
question.
up there?
Yes, there are in fact egos at higher dimension, although I'm
Crap.
sure there are a lot of people who would like to tell you that this is not the case in order to make you think that they don't have agendas. But yes, some people still do have egos at higher dimension. You see less of it, especially among positive societies, and it isn't quite so all-consuming, but there are people who still have egos and suffer from ego issues. It's just less common.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
When it comes to emotional expression, they have all the same emotions we do. We find with the positives, the negative emotions like fear, anger, jealousy, hatred, that kind of thing, they tend to be not as prone to them, and those things tend to pass a lot quicker.
And also,
and
I've noticed that the positive emotions seem to be more broader range and even more sensitive, or more like.
Yeah, they're emphasized.
Yeah.